Ah, Frogger, the classic 1981 arcade game from Konami where you're guiding frogs across a street and a riverbed to get them home while avoiding traffic, snakes, and other perils that will make short work of your amphibious heroes if you mess up. It's a game that, much like many classic arcade games of the time, has had a crap ton of conversions to various video game, home computer, and other formats of note. Today's subject matter in particular will focus on Frogger for Game Boy. Now the main goal of Frogger, for those of you who've never played Frogger, is that you have to guide your frog across the road, avoiding all the cars and trucks, then gingerly traverse logs and turtles on your way to your frog hole. Once you get that frog home, you have to repeat the process over with the remaining 4 frogs. Once all 5 frogs made it across safely, it's on to the next wave where you pretty much have to do the same thing, only the level is slightly more difficult with the addition of alligators and snakes as you progress onwards, and also the formations of the traffic and logs and turtles and things will vary. Contact with a hazard will cost you a frog, as will falling into the river, even though frogs can technically swim, but these couldn't for some reason. And if you lose all your frogs, the game ends. And it's pretty much the same deal here. There's nothing about Frogger that has deviated much from the original arcade game, at least from a gameplay standpoint. Despite the aesthetical changes, if you're even remotely familiar with the original Frogger and how it plays, then you'll be able to easily jump in here because it's pretty much the same game. The layout never changes throughout the game, there are no boss battles tossed in every 10th level or so. There are no power-ups that gives your frog a machine gun to blow up the cars or anything like that. It's straight and simple Frogger, and it plays well enough, controls simply enough. Nothing to really complain about here. Visually speaking, look, Frogger looks kind of lame. In an attempt to modernize a game that saw its origins in 1981, Morningstar Multimedia saw fit to replace the clean, timeless, old-school graphics of the arcade original with something a tad more realistic and in keeping with somewhere above NES standards of graphical quality, and the end result is lame. The cars look alright and the gators are fairly decent looking, but the frog just looks like crap. Almost as if I'm controlling a green turd with legs. And yet when he reaches one of the 5 open spaces, your little green frog shit turns into a crayon-drawn Frogger from the intermission screens. You know, the one with the blank, expressionless face that just tells you that he lost the will to live. Oh well, at least the logs look good, right? In regards to sound, Frogger sounds alright. There's no musical jingle during gameplay, but you do have your arcade jingles in between levels that sound alright. The in-game sound effects are passable, they sound like their arcade equivalent somewhat. That's a bit of a stretch, they're relatively inoffensive at least, no complaints in that regard. Overall, if you could look past the rather lame visuals, you'll find a rather respectable conversion of Frogger on Game Boy. It doesn't stray from what came before, it's pretty faithful to the overall play mechanics, controls well enough, and it's nice for a quick fix on the go. If you find a cheap enough copy, go for it. It's fun. Oh, one last thing before we go. Did you know that this game is compatible with the Super Game Boy? Usually when you have this icon, it means there's some extra features when you play this on the Super Game Boy, whether it be a special border or a special color palette. So what does Frogger offer when you play it on the Super Game Boy? Absolutely nothing. No special borders, no special color palettes, no nothing. That's it.